bullying, redemption, and a bunch of kids who could stay the hell away from bridges and ledges. I am the Wiz. Thank you everybody for coming back. Welcome, welcome. I am still going through my cold, so if it still seems a little weird, that's why. I apologize. So today I am reviewing a film that I believe has been called one of the best animated movies from Japan ever. And that is A Silent Voice, directed by Naoko Yamada. Well, the reason why I chose this movie is I was looking for a bunch of animated films to watch that are really good, but I wanted to stay away from Hayao Miyazaki, because I love Miyazaki, but I just had to be like, okay, it's time to let that go. So I will go ahead and try something else, and amongst the list of all the others, this one popped up, so I'm like, okay, I'll give this a shot. Let's see how this turns out. And I gotta tell you, even though this is one of the most celebrated ones I've seen, I think this has a very high rating on Letterboxd, I wasn't exactly impressed, and I'm gonna tell you why. But first, let me get to the things I liked about this movie. So the main drama of the film is that this kid bullied this deaf girl in elementary school. After it happened, the deaf girl moved to another school, and the rest of the people in his school basically hated him for it and isolated from him. And this led the boy, the bully, to be isolated from everyone else and to be very depressed and have a very hard time. And what happens as the film goes on is that he tries to gain redemption for bullying the poor girl later on in high school and develops a friendship with her. And I gotta say, that drama between the former bully and the deaf girl is actually pretty good. I actually like the drama that is in this. I think the relationship is cute. I think it's kind of heartwarming in a way. But if I gotta be honest, you kind of know what's gonna happen as the film goes on. They sort of warm up to each other. Maybe there's a little romance, stuff like that. But yeah, that's all pretty much there. But I will also say that the animation is very colorful, very vibrant. I think the way that they do sunlight and grass and the water in this movie is very good. It's just a very good style to it that I thought that was very visually pleasing. Now, here are my problems with the film. First off, the movie's too long. This is a 2-hour and 10-minute film. And the reason why it's so long is because it spends too much time on stuff outside of the main plot that has little depth to it. So the main character, the former bully, tries to get a whole bunch of other kids to re-ingratiate himself to the deaf girl, with some results that are positive and negative. And I kind of really wondered why they went this route. I just don't think it really worked in this end. They brought back all these other characters from the elementary school, and there was not a lot of depth in that, because that elementary school section lasted about 5 to 10 minutes. Then about the same amount of depth is done throughout the rest of the film, that you don't really feel a fondness or closeness to any of these characters and really wish them to be friends again. I just didn't really get into that. And this is what led me to really believe that I think the film is really lacking a lot of depth, or that it's completely missing. I know this is based off of a manga, and I don't know how long the manga series is, but it definitely feels like that these characters were much more important than the movie was making it out to be. And because of that, I feel like the ancillary characters, the supporting characters, with maybe the exception of the deaf girl's sister, is just not as well in depth, and is just less interesting to watch. The film also does this thing when it tried to visualize the isolation of the main character, and they put big blue X marks in front of the faces of everybody else. And I gotta be honest, it felt kind of pointless. They could have shown his isolation just by showing other people talking and interacting with each other, and him not, and that would have made the point just fine. It just seemed like the big blue X marks just seemed a little bit too much. And then finally, the reliance on suicide for key drama points also just did not resonate. I'm not going to spoil who does and how it happens or why, but it just felt like they were using that as a way to put a crescendo on the drama, where I just didn't really feel like it worked. To be honest, I think they used it a little too much. I think that the reasons why these characters did it also just did not really resonate with me as well. So I kind of was very cold with that end. There are things I do like about A Silent Voice, and I'm going to get the feeling that a lot of people are going to disagree with me. But if I'm being honest, it wasn't really that emotional of a film, and I'm the type of guy that actually would get emotional in these types of films. But this just did not work on that end. But I will say there are things about this movie that are good, and I think they will just slightly go above me liking the film over not liking the film. Alright, so let's talk about what other people think of this film. Letterboxd has it at a 4.2 out of 5. That is shocking to me. Well, maybe not. This is really celebrated. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 95% fresh, and this did not get any Oscars at the year it came out. I'm giving this a 2.5 out of 5. I think it was fine. I like the drama between the deaf girl and the former bully. I thought that was good. I think the animation's very good. But the rest of it, it just seems like it's too long, or it lacks depth for the other characters to make that really resonate. I think the one thing about this film that I think really hampered it for me is they try to throw in all these themes, but not get a lot of depth into it. They go about with bullying, deafness, isolation, suicide, death. Just so many themes in this movie. And not a lot of them really feel all that in depth that it really feels right with the film. But the main one, which is the relationship between the former bully and the deaf girl, I think is good. It's not great, but it's good. But the animation is also really colorful and vibrant, and I really like that. A 2.5 out of 5 is the most I will give this. It's a fine movie. I can understand why people do like it, but I guess it just wasn't for me. If you want to watch this, you can rent it on YouTube or on Apple TV if you are interested. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my Letterboxd at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.